Shapley. This is Justin Zalewski from the Foundation of Visionary Medicine, and I have the unique pleasure today of interviewing Dr. Shapley, and perhaps he can share with us some of his colourful journey and some of the amazing people he's met along the way, and also to incorporate his understanding of healing and how we can incorporate that into our lives and apply it so we can heal on a spiritual level as well as many other levels. So if you could...
Thank you for having me here, and thank you for being such an inspiration to so many souls that know that there's a higher way of being. And one of the nice things that I'd like to say is that over these more than 80 years, what I have found is the most important thing is to be conscious of who you really are as a soul. Now that word I know is hard for some people, so I just translate it over to consciousness. But soul or consciousness, whichever you are most happy with, just put it in every time I mention this. Because ontology, which is my discipline, relates basically to the Greek of onto for soul. But today that's gone into the churches, the temples and the mosques too much with organized religion, and I'm not comfortable with that. And so I'm using consciousness most of the time in that space.
So how do I get people to become more conscious? You know, every day now people are running about, they've got such fast, crazy lives, they hardly have time to speak to people. So how can you tune people in, or how can you get them to become more conscious of who they really are?
Do you want a secret? Do you want to hear a secret?
I'd love to hear
a secret.
Yeah.
We're not calling it healing anymore. We're calling it well-being.
Well-being.
Now, well-being isn't something you have to attain. It's something you have to sustain. And so this isn't a matter of fixing broken things. It's a matter of recognizing the perfection of the soul, which is who we really are, and the perfection of the soul filters down into what we call the body.
Yeah. Because
the body is in soul. See, people get it the other way around. They think the soul's in the body. I'm sorry! The body is in the soul. And so therefore the soul is your true essence of who you really are, and that never gets sick, that never gets broken. There's not any accidents in a life based on soul. Now, I have many ways of substantiating this. And when I first realized this, I was 3 years old, and I thought, well, I won't go into it because it's on Google anyway. I did a death experience when I was 3 years old because I said, look, this isn't really what I came here to do. And don't be at all surprised that your children, the crystal children of today, have full intelligence when they come out.
Right. You're saying the term crystal children. I haven't actually heard that term before.
Oh, dear me. Well, yes.
I've heard of indigo children.
What we're essentially saying, Justin, is that there is a whole new generation coming up now, which is not into the, shall we say, the competitive space, you know, wars and games that have losers, things of that sort. And so also that information goes through their trillion cells in the so-called body. Now, if those cells get the information of joy, of love, of caring, of intelligence and special things like that, fun, then it rejuvenates all trillion cells. And quite frankly, you can live forever. But you also may choose that you've been here long enough, in which case, let me show you that that word choose is very important.
Right.
It doesn't happen to you. Somewhere in your soul space you choose. Maybe you choose to have a rotten day. I hope that's not true of any of you. But the thing is, you can also choose to basically live forever, because there's nothing there which disintegrates. Now, I'm speaking the world of quantum science now. I'm not speaking the world of strange mystics. That's quantum science.
But you mean like physically the body can stay on Earth indefinitely?
Yes, indefinitely, so long as you give it the information which doesn't disintegrate it. And that information is very simply joy, love, caring, and positive, and peace, and all those good things that we talk about but never seem to quite manage to grasp. I mean, on the whole, as a collective civilization. But collective civilization isn't where I suggest you go. Go within to your own space, private space, It's God represented, image and likeness, as you. Now, the quantum physics of today is extraordinary from that standpoint because it's mentioning that we are really electromagnetic fields. And, you know, people see auras and on paintings you see halos and things like that.
I've seen those in religious pictures, see.
There's religious pictures.
Yeah, around the head.
All of that is an expression of a reality that I should say, that the rational mind does not accept. Now, the rational mind has got us into all these wars and things like that, and so it might be a good time to see that we're not our rational mind. We are essentially spiritual beings working out how to be successful humans. We're not human beings trying to become more spiritual. I'll say it again. We're not human beings trying to become more spiritual. We are spiritual beings seeing how to become more appropriate humans.
Yeah, you mentioned auras there, and that's sort of one thing I remember many years ago, seeing my first aura.
Yeah.
And I was trying. I just couldn't do it, and I've heard that other people could do it. And then one day I it's almost like I just let go, and all of a sudden I saw this big flash behind.
Shall I give you a disciplined answer? I think that's more important for our friends.
Yeah.
Because a disciplined answer is, it's not seen with the physical eyes. So therefore what you do is you have to go beyond the spectrum of the visible and pull it in. And when you pull it in for a split second there, you can see it. Now I find it's easier if you're not looking straight at you in your face or your eyes. If you're off to one side, I can see it better. Because if you snip your fingers like this and then move it out there, you can still see them. I'm still seeing them here. Okay? And so from that standpoint, there's more than meets the eye, as they say. If we bring in the spectrum, the spectrum goes all the way to X-rays on this side and all the way to quantum rays on that side. And so, you know, there's much more than visible.
And for people...
Well, we are vibrational beings.
Yes. I've heard that terminology so many times, and especially in my own life, I realise that, you know, the law of vibration, whatever we focus on, we become.
If you don't mind, I prefer the word resonance to vibration. Because vibration is a bipolar thing. You know, the pendulum goes this side, that side. It vibrates between that and that. That's not a good description of what we really are. But resonance doesn't do that. Resonance is not bipolar. And one of the problems is, and I hope this isn't too advanced to be speaking out to our good friends, but resonance is the electromagnetic nature of being on the physical planet. You have 4 kinds of energy, and this is brought out by quantum physics. One of them is atomic micro, and one of them is atomic macro. So the microatomic is what you recognize in your own being, as I said, which has over 1 trillion cells, thank you very much. The macro is the cosmos, the galaxies, and things like that. And then there's the gravitational energy, which just sort of keeps us grounded. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know. People say, Dr. Carl, be more grounded. I say, thank you. If I'm 6 feet under, I'm grounded. But I don't intend to do that right now. And then the other part is the electromagnetic, which is wonderful. It's what prayer is. Prayer is manifested as electromagnetic energy. And that's something you can send. And there have been carefully done scientific experiments that show that what I'm saying here now, if I put it into the electromagnetic, it's there anyway, can be felt miles and miles away. It's not just in the next room. They did experiments and proved that it goes in the next room, but then they proved that that was just the beginning, and it goes right straight out.
Is this a bit like when you're thinking of, say, your aunt in Australia, and you're holding this thought about I must ring her, and the next thing she rings you?
Absolutely, you're right on target.
Right, yeah, because I've had
right on target. That's what it is.
A few experiences like that, and sort of.
But you see, the way I'm a little bit different is that I take it from there, which is still physical, into multidimensional consciousness. Now that's a big one, and I'm sorry to bring the big one in at this point, but